Today, I'm breaking down my recent short film, Acceptance. It's a video about the inner dialogue that holds us back and the freedom that comes from embracing who we truly are.
Oh, I don't wanna be anybody but me.
What's going on? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am trying something a little bit different here. I'm going to show you behind the scenes of the latest short film that I just dropped. Yeah, I'm excited to show my creative process because this isn't something that I have done too much on this channel or on my social media at all. So yeah, I'm always fascinated by watching other creators work, kind of getting to see their like process, getting to see how ideas come to life, and that's exactly what I want to do with this. So if you haven't checked out the video already, it's live on my YouTube already. You can go watch that first, or you can watch it after this video. But I'm excited to break it down because this video challenged me a ton as a filmmaker. It made me really just appreciate how complex the creative process can be. It was one of those projects where I allowed myself to really slow down and take my time on it. And I think with social media and there being this pressure to show up all the time and create consistently, I've fallen into this trap a lot over the years of feeling like I need to turn content or turn ideas around quickly. So for starters, I had a couple goals with this project. I wanted to just create something purely for myself and just challenge myself. So I really just wanted to push my storytelling. My default as a filmmaker is to come up with an idea, think of a voiceover, write a script, and just kind of let my words kind of tell the story just through music selection, through shot selection, through symbolism. I wanted this story to unfold and to challenge myself to just let the visuals and the audio kind of do the storytelling for me. And the reason I focused on this idea of self-acceptance is because last year was one of those years where I really struggled to accept myself, and I felt like I tried to fit myself into a box based on things that I saw online, or all of these different things. I tried to just be someone that I'm not. And one of my biggest learnings was that just embrace who you are and the opportunities will unfold and the world will open up for you. So okay, so what I want to do is I want to break down a few of the key scenes in this video, starting with the one that you just saw, and just speak about my thoughts when it came to storytelling, creative decision making, stuff like that. Less about kind of the technical side of things, the gear that was used, and like I said, more about the thought process behind it all. So for all my gearheads out there, people that are interested in how this video was shot and what it was shot on, 90% of the video was shot on my Sony a7 IV, which is the camera that I'm using right now to film. And I want to dive into my pre-production process a little bit as well. As you can see, I have my journal here, got a few notes in here. This was the main character of this film aside from myself, and I'll speak more about that. But when it comes to pre-production, one of the first things that I do when I'm starting a video after I've written a script or conceptualized the idea is I dive right into music selection. I find that music selection for me can help me dictate a lot of the shots. It's where you really kind of start to feel out the vibe and the energy and the emotion of the film, and things can really just take shape just from the music alone. So some of the initial ideas that I had for the film will actually change just based on the music that I find. There's an entire film that I did on my channel last year, called The Art of Being Alone, and I hadn't even thought about creating it until I heard the song. So that's how influential the music selection process can be.
Just being with you can lift my soul.
Let's go.
Ooh, baby, let's go.
For this video in particular, the music selection process was, it took like weeks to land on the right songs, and I just really wanted to try and nail it. The platform that I use to find music is Musicbed. Hands down, in my opinion, the best platform out there for music. I've used Artlist in the past, I've used Epidemic Sound, I've experimented a little bit with audio, and Musicbed blows them all out of the water. If you've never tried Musicbed and you want to try it for 14 days free, click the link in my bio and you can do that. But yeah, that's where I grabbed all the music for this video. And during this whole planning process, there is a platform that I use called Milanote, which is honestly such a game changer. It is like one of the best platforms out there for pre-production. It's essentially a blank canvas and you can organize your thoughts however you want. For this video, I essentially created 3 different boards to try and plan each of the 3 key scenes in this video. The main goal with this initial scene was to try and visually portray the idea of lack of self-acceptance. And another key thing with this scene was to establish the importance of the journal right away. So the second shot in this scene is literally just a shot of the journal, and you can see a bunch of close-ups that follow after that are just me writing in the journal, but I don't actually reveal what is written. That was very intentional because I wanted to keep the viewer on a little bit of a cliffhanger, if you will. I wanted to build anticipation for like what is actually being written in the journal without revealing it just yet. And that was actually a thought that I had later in the process, because when I first conceptualized this scene, I revealed right away what was written inside the journal. As I developed the concept and the idea, I thought it would be stronger to just keep the viewer kind of like teased a little bit, and then that would give the journal itself a stronger presence in the film. So shortly after that, you see the one version of me finish writing in the journal and slide the journal across the table, and the second version of me takes a look at the journal, reads it, and pushes it away. That was my take on visually representing lack of self-acceptance. One version is trying to help the other, and the other is essentially saying, no, I want nothing to do with this. I think it took me like a week or a couple weeks to actually land on the concept of just creating a clone of myself inside the scene. And that idea came about when I watched, I think it was a reel from Sam Colder, and I was like, that's it. I ran with that idea, and I loved the idea too because I've never done something like that. I've never actually created these scenes where there's multiple versions of myself on screen. So I was excited about the challenge of that too, just being able to just test myself a little bit. I basically just filmed this whole thing in my basement, and I have just one source of light in the actual film. So yeah, I just wanted to keep it simple. I wanted to let the music kind of drive the feel of the opening scene. And then even when it came to revealing the title of the film, I again wanted to very subtly show that like the journal is a really important part of this film. And yeah, I think it turned out pretty well. What are you even writing, man? No one's gonna read this shit. You are such a fraud. How are you gonna help anybody when you don't even have your own shit figured out? You're never gonna be successful. Dude, I thought you were supposed to be creative. All these ideas suck. Why can't you be more like that guy? He's got it figured out. What are you even doing, bro? There's gotta be something wrong with you. Why are you even like this? Oh, you'll never be good enough. All right. Now on to this next scene, which honestly was probably one of the most challenging sequences I have ever filmed and conceptualized, but it was pretty much entirely shot on this one half of my office. The other half, as you can see behind me, is a bit of a disaster. So yeah, super fun scene to shoot, and it was shot a lot through kind of like this lens, which is a 12mm, gives you like this kind of distorted look. And shout out to my buddy Tim for letting me borrow the lens for this project. But yeah, super fun scene to put together, and there was a lot of thought behind it. And I want to share that with you right now. So let me drop you on the tripod and then let's dive into it. Okay. Get you all set up there. Perfect. So as I'm sure you saw from the little preview that I shared, this scene was really meant to show the internal struggle. And this was one of those scenes that I sat with in the pre-production phase for so long, for a couple weeks, trying to figure out how I could effectively portray the struggles that I faced, but also show them in a way that was universally kind of like relatable. And if you go back and watch the full film, you'll see that this scene opens very similarly to the intro with a shot of the journal, because as that scene progresses, it becomes evidently clear that the journal is something that I am actively avoiding. So the big idea with this scene was that I'm constantly searching for answers through external factors, through scrolling through my phone, going through social media, looking for opinions from other people, reading books, when in reality, the answer that I need is sitting in the journal. I made the decision to shoot this scene over multiple days to really try and sell the idea of the downward spiral and eventually get to like this breaking point where I just kind of like lose my mind and start throwing things, and that is ultimately crescendos into this moment where the journal hits the ground and I finally realize and remember what is waiting for me inside the journal. Another subtle thing that I tried to do was, over time, I tried to make the space get a little bit messier and messier. So if you go back and watch, you'll see that it kind of starts off with a clean desk and a clean space, and then eventually we end up with a bowl on the table, we end up with sticky notes on the wall, we end up with a sweater on the chair, and I wanted the space to kind of like mirror the chaos in my mind. So to really sell the idea even further, I introduced the only dialogue in the film, which are essentially just my own negative thoughts, my intrusive thoughts that I overlay over the entire scene. Yeah, I felt like that was like the last piece that really sold it. And what I tried to do stylistically to my voice was actually inspired by an Eminem song, The Inner Demon in my head just really taking over. So this scene proved to be a bit of a technical challenge for a couple reasons. The first one is I actually don't get any direct light into the space. So all of the sunlight that you saw in those shots actually came from a light that I had just outside the window. But the other challenge was that I essentially had to leave the tripod locked off in the same spot for multiple days. And I was like genuinely concerned that as I progressed through this, through the filming, that I was gonna knock the tripod and suddenly I would lose my position. But what was also really fun about this shoot was it was the first time I really experimented with using a fogger. And I learned that it really just adds so much depth to the scene. Honestly, this entire process was just like a bunch of trying new things and pushing myself creatively, getting really experimental with lighting. In a way, it almost brought me back to university. So if you don't know, I actually went to school for architecture, and whenever I was stuck on a design and I wanted to get some clarity from my prof, I would go ask them and be like, hey, what do you think I should do next? And they would never give me the answer. They would always say that I had to work through the process. I had to physically model something. I had to sketch it out, and I had to actually like use my hands and like figure it out, you know? That's what this film felt like to me. If I had an idea, I had to test it and see if it worked, and then if it didn't, try something else, you know? So it was a very scrappy process, but it was a beautiful process, and in the end, I think it really all came together, so. Okay, so, all right, so for this last scene that you just saw, I am back at the river where it was shot. This is, this spot's only like 5 minutes from my house, but it's like one of my favorite places to film. I've come here to film a bunch of different scenes for a bunch of different YouTube videos, and I felt like it was perfect for this scene. This is the scene where I finally decide to read what is inside the journal. And I felt like shooting that scene outside just made the most sense for me because the outdoors is naturally where I find the most clarity. So I kind of wanted the office space from the previous scene to represent chaos, and I wanted the outdoors to represent clarity. So again, for this scene, I wanted the music to really guide the feel and the emotion of this scene. So you can see with how this scene is shot that I'm still trying to like build anticipation for the moment that I finally read the journal. So shots from the side where you can see the side of the journal, from low angle shots to shots from behind, and yeah, it ultimately just builds into this beautiful moment where I just finally decide to read what's inside the journal, and I have this embrace and kind of like I feel joy and relief for what's inside, and ultimately it is like the symbol of acceptance. So yeah, that's kind of how this whole scene came together, and I also thought it was like the perfect transition into the concluding sequence of the video, which is like this adventure montage of my year. So if you want to watch the rest of that part, you're gonna have to check out the full video. But yeah, it was really fun to break this video down and to finally show my creative process behind things, because like I said at the beginning of this video, this is not something that I've done too much online. And if you vibed with that, let me know in the comments below, and I'll do that with more videos in the future. My goal with this channel is to do a ton more short films, to document more of my life, the things that I'm learning, the experiences that I have, and yeah, just show up a lot more on YouTube. I'm really, really pumped for that. So, and if there's one thing I can leave you with, it's that I hope this video inspired you to get creative, push yourself, experiment, try new things, and most importantly, be yourself. In an ever-evolving world of like technology and AI, we crave authenticity more than ever. So yeah, I hope this inspires you to share your story. And before I leave you, I just wanted to give one final shout out to some epic brand partners that have supported my work over the years. Passenger Clothing, they have been with me for 3 years now, which is crazy to think about. Pretty much everything I wear in my in all my videos is from Passenger. This fleece, this toque included. And yeah, I just like huge shout out to them for supporting my journey, and of course Musicbed for yeah, for also supporting my artwork and for supplying all the music in this video and all the videos on my channel. So yeah, so stoked for what's to come this year. I'm so stoked to create some more and to share it with you all. Again, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know in the comments below, and yeah, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.